Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new tattoo horror story reaction video. Hello everyone, what is the tea? What is the scalding hot Assam? How are we all doing today? Hello everyone, so welcome back to my channel. Some of you might have noticed I have decided to separate the piercing horror stories and tattoo horror stories in single videos on their own. When I first started doing them, I didn't anticipate getting so many tattoo horror stories. So from going on forward, I'm gonna have a series of tattoo horror stories and piercing horror stories kind of kept separately. Please comment down below some of your tattoo horror stories. And as always, you are more than welcome to repost the same horror story again if I have not featured it. Eventually you'll get in. But anyway, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell to don't miss any videos that are coming up. Come follow me on all my social medias. All that stuff is linked down below. But let's not beat around the bush, hey, and get on with these tattoo horror stories. Hello, Alexandra. Tattoo horror story. My dad gave himself a stick and poke. Wait, what? He gave himself a stick and poke, his only tattoo. It was either before I was born or very young. For some reason, he kept the tattoo ink in the kitchen drawer for years. Ink expires. So by the time I was going through my rebellious teen phase at 15, this ink was 10 to 20 years old. Oh, what are you gonna do? Oh, you're gonna put it in your... I think we can imagine where the story is going. Also, to help you understand this, I was the complete nightmare of a teenage angst and rebellion. You could not talk me out of doing something I was determined to do. My parents often had given up and let me learn the hard way. Sometimes, honestly, I feel like sometimes it's the best way in a way. So of course I used the ink. I put it in a different bottle so my dad wouldn't notice it was missing. I got drunk. Oh God, got drunk as well. Jesus. So I got drunk and had my friend tattoo a small anchor on the side of my face. Your face! You tattooed your face at 15 years old. Jesus. So that's too far. Like, you can't just let your kid just tattoo their face and be like, you got to learn the hard way. Like, there are certain things, fine. They might have to learn out the hard way when it comes to like relationships or like heartbreak. But like, just to let your kid tattoo their face at 15 years old because you want them to learn the hard way. Like, that's bad parenting. Sorry. Tattooing their face.
Oh, that is so unfair!
So I got drunk and had my friend tattoo a small anchor on the side of my face with a piercing needle. It looked grey rather than black, so a lot of people just thought it was makeup. While I was 15, I also ordered Amazon needles and stick and poke lettering on my... You did stick and poke lettering on your ankle, a pirate skull on my wrist, and various other tattoos. And no, my parents couldn't simply take away my tattoo stuff because I would have acquired more. At this point, my dad was just glad I was passionate about... No! Passionate about something type of art and wasn't just getting into hard drugs or jail. But tattooing your face is gonna like change your... Wow. I can't believe that that's being like compared. Like, oh, it's so okay for you to like just potentially like hospitalize yourself with infections or damaging or like tattooing your face because it's better than you doing drugs. Both of these things shouldn't happen. You shouldn't compare them and be like, oh, well, that's okay. Like, that's the kind of thing that you compare to like your kid playing too many video games or your kid, I don't know, collect Pokemon cards or just something like you can compare that to be like, oh, I'd rather him be doing that than doing drugs or rather him like, but to say I'd rather my child be tattooing themselves and causing themselves potential illness or tattooing their face, which is going to potentially like ruin their life. like that's not a comparison to make. Thankfully, later in life, I did learn how to tattoo properly and I'm now heavily tattooed. So my old stick and poke tattoos blend in with nicely with my new work. I'm 22 now. How many tattoos have you got when you're 22 though? 22, to be like heavily tattooed at 22 still seems very young. And I've kept tattooing since I've upgraded machine and respectable tattoo. Are you still tattooing yourself? Like, I don't know. This story makes me very uncomfortable. Wow. I don't know how to really respond. Like, so much of this story has left me very uncomfortable. I'm just gonna move on. So this comes from Bad Wolf, and they say, I don't know, I'm screaming. Tattoo horror story with a PSA. If you're short on cash and really want a tattoo, just wait and save up more money. 100%.
Not enough cash.
When I was 14, I saw a guy who had these beautiful sleeve tattoos. I had no idea tattoos could be so beautiful. I had mostly seen those tiny minimalistic tattoos. My mum, who also had small tattoos, promised to pay for a tattoo for my 16th birthday. Your 16th birthday. Is tattoo consent laws like God, I'm joking.
Well, he's dead.
What just happened? Do you know when your body just suddenly decides, right, this is the end? That was weird. I was triggered by 16. Is tattoo consent laws like around the world differently, I assume? Because like tattooing at how are you getting tattooed at 16? Although if there is a tattoo artist working on a 16-year-old, I question your professionalism. Like 16-year-olds should not be getting tattoos. Sorry if I sound like an old grumpy person. 16-year-olds should not be getting tattoos. Unfortunately, by the time my birthday had come around, not only did she forget her promise, she was also tight on money. So to be honest, I'm glad that you didn't get it at 16. So I later got a job, not just to get my tattoo, but for other reasons. Well, I mean, we all need to work, girls. And by the time I was almost 18, I had some money saved up. However, I was 18 and an idiot who also wanted new games console. Why? No. See, you're too self-deprecating here. You're not an idiot for wanting a games console. Like, to be honest, a games console is probably a better thing to get than a tattoo at 18. Because trust me, what you like when you're 18 and in your teens are probably be very different what you like when you're older. So I looked around for the cheapest tattoo parlor that was also decently rated on Yelp. In hindsight, there were so many red flags that should have warned me not to get a tattoo there. But like I said, I was an idiot. Red flag number 1. It was a one-man operation, and the front of his shop was actually his other business, custom banner printing. His tattoo shop was a tiny room in the back of what looked like an old office. Being a one-person studio isn't necessarily a red flag. The guy who's doing my arm is called Hyro, Morningstar Tattoo. Shout out to you. He owns the studio. It's just him there. Sometimes he has guest artists come and do things there as well. And the person who does my leg, his studio is above a barber's. So you have to go through the barber's to go to his studio upstairs. But like when you go to a studio, it's immaculate. Like it's beautifully clean. Everything is sterile. Like it's a wonderful place. So I don't think that's necessarily a red flag. Red flag number 2. When we talk about what I wanted for my tattoo, he took pictures off Pinterest and used those to design my tattoo. I don't mean he used them as inspiration. I mean he literally printed designs from Pinterest, cut out elements from each design and put them together. Oh, very AI generated image now, isn't it?
How dare you?
I never really understood the whole AI thing. I never really understood how it worked, but apparently it takes artwork from people across the internet and then kind of merge them together to create something new. There was a bunch of other things, but the real horror came when he actually did the tattoo. Like I said, this was my first tattoo, so I had no idea what to expect or how to tell if something was wrong. The whole time he's tattooing, I'm in excruciating pain and almost pass out multiple times. We had to stop every few minutes to let me catch my breath. I thought it was normal because everyone has always told me that tattoos are painful. I thought I just had an exceptionally low pain tolerance. Nope! Turns out he was super heavy-handed. When it fully healed, it wasn't flat like I expected it to be. When my mum saw it, she said it was scarred, like my whole tattoo. Oh no, you gotta know, your entire tattoo was scarred. No. So scared, blind people would be able to trace my tattoo. It's like Braille. He actually gave you a Braille tattoo. So you can get your friend or whatever to be like, oh, so what does it actually say? Like when people get Japanese letters and it says something like foods when you thought it said love and peace. But no, there's Braille and they're like, you do realize your tattoo says I'm dying in a house fire. Okay. Yeah, so the idea of having your whole tattoo scarred and stuff does not sound fun. I personally haven't, luckily I've not had to experience anything like that. Body modification and cheap should never go in the same sentence, especially tattoos. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna be like,
it has to be a deep meaning that, oh my God, you have to have, where's the 8-page paragraph backstory as to what you want this tattoo?
I don't give a shit about that. If you love something, you love it. But just because you love something doesn't mean you should instantly get it tattooed in you and go for the cheapest person you could find. If you can't afford it right now, just wait. Because trust me, you're going to love this tattoo 100 times more when it looks beautiful and actually done by a really established artist. I guarantee it goes. So this is from Venna. Hello. When I was 19, I decided to finally get my first tattoo. I had saved up at my first job to be able to get my rib tattooed. Oh God, you're starting off with big guns there. Your ribs are notoriously one of the most painful places to get tattooed. You wanted your rib tattoo from a well-known artist I'd looked up to for years. Halfway through the tattoo, another resident artist came over to speak to my artist about a mutual friend they had. The other artist proceeded to start telling the artist about an assault that had occurred against their mutual friend the night before at the hands of her boyfriend. What? So there I was, completely topless and laying stretched out on my side, a needle to my ribs awkwardly facing the artist while she spoke about this. During the conversation, they made eye contact with me and looked disapprovingly at me, as if I was intruding into their conversation. To be fair, I felt like I was. I would too, I would too, oh my god! This seemed way too personal for me to be listening into, but I was literally between them. The artist tattooing me got incredibly upset at hearing about her friend. Completely understandable, 100%. However, this triggered the tattooist into becoming noticeably more heavy-handed with the neat tattoo machine. I wasn't comfortable with continuing the tattoo with the artist being emotionally distressed. Completely understand as well. However, the tattoo was only palm size, so it was nearly done, and I felt too awkward to say anything. I do consider my tattoo to look beautiful, and I have received a lot of compliments. Unfortunately, my skin was overworked. My experience with healing was far more painful than any other tattoo I've had since. Oh my gosh! Yeah, so, like, sometime since getting my tattoos done, there's been other people there. They're not talking about graphic things that have happened. I can understand, like, if this has happened to your friend and you have a mutual friend who is there, like, wanting to tell them, but that was definitely not the right situation to do it, especially in front of, like, a stranger who doesn't know any of you. Time and place, this, like, that is unprofessional. If I was a tattooist and I was doing that to someone and someone came over to me and said that one of my good friends had been assaulted, I wouldn't be able to just suddenly be like, okay, and then save my emotion for later. Like, that would upset me. I think you should have waited to tell this person until, like, after they had finished doing their work. Like, it's really, like, that is unprofessional, and I think that has gone a bit too far. Especially because, like, if you've been, like, assaulted, like, that's not a conversation you just have on a whim. Like, that is something you need to actually, like, have a proper discussion about, and not just, like,
Sorry, I didn't understand.
oh, shut up, you old bitch! My Google was like, hello, I'm Itzy. So this is from Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Here's a tattoo and piercing horror story for you. Oh, we get a 2-in-1. I knew somebody. I knew somebody and she's dead.
She's dead.
I knew somebody. She lives in the neighborhood. All of a sudden, I see her walking around with a piece of cloth or something like that around her underarm. Curious cat that I am. Just call yourself a curtain twitcher. Just say I'm a curtain twitcher. Come on, Agatha. Curtain twitcher. Ooh, have you seen the neighbor's Barbara? She's got a piece of cloth under her arm. What's been going on? Scandal! Call the police! Curious cat that I am, I asked her about it. She took it off, and I kid you not, her entire underarm was covered in pus and yellow stuff. It was disgusting. She told me that she went to a guy who has a beauty studio, does permanent makeup and stuff. I don't know. She wanted a tattoo that had a dermal piercing in it because her friend had it and she liked it. Roly, this awful man did her tattoo, and not even 5 minutes after he had done it, 5 minutes, he put the dermal in. What? Wow. You tattooed over someone and then put a dermal over the tattoo when it had just been done. According to her, when she told him about the pus and stuff, he recommended her to put some kind of covering on it over it to keep it away from dirt and other stuff. He told her it was her fault that it had turned out like that. Can you believe it? I honestly hope she doesn't lose her arm or goes to the police, because that man needs to be arrested. You don't have to be a tattoo artist or piercer to know that something effed up shit right there. Wow, like, oh my god. Can you imagine just getting a tattoo done and like 2 seconds later to be like, well, we're gonna put a dermal right there on the freshly tattooed place. That is one way to get infection. Like, wow. What kind of thing did she have over it? You said she just had like some kind of cloth. One of like the biggest like no's to happen when you have new tattoo work is to put any kind of like fabric or cloth over the tattoo. You want to use like paper towels, like kitchen roll or something. You don't want to use like fabrics, because you don't want any of the fabrics to like get into the tattoo, dry on it, or like also because things like towels and stuff in your bathroom are actually quite dirty. They do harbor bacteria, so you're not supposed to like put any of that like onto your skin after getting a tattoo. I don't know how to like react to this one, because I'm just like, I'm trying to understand it, because it makes like, I don't like, can she get him arrested though? Like, did she sign a consent form for this to happen? Because most artists and things will make you sign consent forms to make sure that like, you know, you're doing this from your own accord, like especially with piercings. Like you go in, you sign away, you're sort of like, I'm not saying you sign away your rights, but you definitely sign away to be like, well, you've agreed to do this, so you can't like sue if something goes wrong. Unless I guess if you were to go there and be like, well, there was nothing clean here, blah, 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 and you didn't realize, and he's been using like dirty needles, but was saying that he wasn't. So I guess in those ways you probably could sue.
I'll see you in court!
Hello, Janae! So, my horror story is about my first tattoo. Not long after my 18th birthday, my biological father wanted to take me to get my first tattoo. Yes, there's a backstory there, but let's not ride 2 trigger trains at once. I already knew what I wanted and had known since I was 16, so I present my artist with the reference material. Looking at my alleged tattoo artist should have been the first red flag. This dude was wearing a baseball cap backwards that had that had cutouts for his eyebrows, so you will still see them when he's wore the hat. Wait, what? But like, how low is he wearing his... You can still see my eyebrows, but how... Does he have like... How low is he? Is he wearing his hat like this? Or is his eyebrows like really high up? What?
I don't understand it.
So he draws something up and brings it back to me. It was not what I had given him, but being around my bio dad and me being me, I couldn't speak up, and a small part of me wanted to trust the process because it was so close to what I had given him, but not quite. So fast forward to the actual tattooing. He starts off with the shakiest line work I've ever had the misfortune of witnessing. All the while I'm trying to convince myself he will fix it somehow. Once the wonky outline is done, instead of starting to fill the inside of the tattoo, he decides he wants to do this weird sweeping detail on the outside first, sure. But instead of switching the tattoo gun with the needle meant for shading, he goes right in with the needle he was using for line work. He does 2 to 3 small lines before something in his brain goes, oh yeah, that's wrong. He switches. Did I speak up? No. Oh no. I just watched him in horrified silence until he was done. Did I mention that it's in my inner forearm? Oh gosh. So it's still there, like a sad reminder to do research. Yeah, oh my gosh. I know it's difficult sometimes, but you have to be clear about what you want. And if you do not like something and you don't like the way that like this part of the photo looks, or like you want something changed, or you're not happy with the design completely, say something. I get that it's difficult, people have anxiety, all that kind of stuff, but this is going to be on your body forever. Forever. So this is from Nanamu. Quite a few years ago, I had a paw print tattoo done around my wrist, kind of like a bracelet that had a red heart with a paw print in the middle of it hanging down onto the back of my hand. That sounds very cute. By this time, I had had many tattoos done without any issues at all. The area around the red heart started itching really badly by the 2nd, 3rd day. Then it started swelling. Oh no, have you got an allergy? Swelling up, and the scabs that had started forming where it was raising up where the heart was. I went back to the tattoo artist to be told it looks like I have taken an allergic reaction to the shade of red ink. No, oh my gosh. I used to have really bad allergies to many things as a kid, but mostly grow out of them eventually. I ended up with an infection in it too. The tattooist went back over it with dark pink ink once it had fully healed and any infection had long gone. I've been left with a small scar which is mostly hidden by the tattoo. We did try the same shade of red again in another tattoo to test it, and yet 100% allergic to that shade, but not any other color. Yes, so this was one of my like biggest fears when I started getting tattooed. For most of my life, I've never really been allergic to anything that I can think of. I have a bad reaction if I ever have Yakult, which is like a good bacteria drink. I don't know what you call it, but it's like one of those like yogurt drinks you drink to give your stomach good bacteria. What turns you on? Bacteria.
Bacteria.
So starting my tattoo, I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna have any problem with any ink. Because obviously, I've basically got like every color imaginable. Luckily for me, nothing seems to have happened. But the only thing about allergies also is not all the time it happens instantly. Sometimes it can happen like a month down the line. But I will say, there's many different ways of creating different colors. Like you can mix inks together to make different shades. I'm glad I'm not allergic to anything, but I'm sorry that you had this issue with your tattoo. Because it sounds really cute as well, but I'm glad that at least it looks somewhat good now and the scarring has been somewhat hidden by the tattoo itself. So this is from Cake on Your Face. Oh, how very wedding. Tattoo horror story. Okay, I can't remember how old I was. Maybe 18. A bit old for stick and poke, I know, but we move on. I bought some tattoo needles and ink from eBay, but the ink didn't come with the order. So instead of waiting or ordering more ink, I took a Sharpie and dipped the needle into the nib of the Sharpie. Oh, wow. No! Absolutely not. Okay, I managed to tattoo an outline of a rabbit about 1 inch wide on my ankle. I took care of it, but after a week, the entire thing fell off in one piece. So it fell off in one go. A scab shape of a rabbit. My body just rejected it completely. Fast forward to now, 9 years later, and I'm a professional hand poke tattoo artist. I tell the story when my clients come in needing a stick and poke fixed up. Wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you've taken away from that, and actually now you do it yourself as a profession. But I do think there's just like misconceptions, especially with young people when they do things like this to themselves, that they do just think they get a pin and just go like this, and that's how you tattoo. It's like, no, there's an actual like technique to getting it done right to make sure the ink is where it should be. So this is from the Backpacking Baroque. Hello. When healing my most recent tattoo on the upper arm, I had a reaction to the sandarum. I think that's like second skin. It was red, burning and itchy. Obviously, I had to remove it even though it was in the shower, like advised. It was super stuck to the underside of my arm, like the inner part near the armpit. Here, where the skin is tender, yes, that'll be like here. I eventually got it off, but it had torn off a decent layer of my skin there, and that's sensitive to tear off skin there. No, it hurt like hell. Luckily, it missed my tattoo by an inch or two, so luckily, wow. But I won't be using it again. Okay, you're lucky that it didn't actually get where the tattoo is. I have a kind of love-hate relationship when it comes to second skin and the layer that they put over it. With my leg, I have used second skin a few times. Now, most of the time, I don't know what it is about my skin. It just doesn't stay on me. My skin's like, no, it's time to go. And it lasts like one night. The most recent time I had it done, when I got my Shinnok section of my Mortal Kombat leg done, some people might not know, I'm actually currently getting my leg tattooed. I'm going to be doing a whole proper reveal video once I've like finished it. We put the second skin over that, and it actually stayed on for 3 days. I was very surprised, but when I took it off, and I was also taking it off in the shower, a little tiny section, it was only about this big, like only a tiny bit of section of my skin peeled off with it, even though I was doing it in the shower myself. It hasn't damaged the tattoo, it's fine, but I do find it is a little bit too sticky sometimes. I don't know, it's kind of difficult. I'm just not really a fan. I just think I prefer wrapping it up, even though it's a little bit more work. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I love it and I don't love it at the same time. Love me or hate me. I'm not gonna start singing Lady Sovereign again. So this is from JP. Hello. Tattoo horror story. Shortly after high school, I knew a girl who would go to her friend's garage for her tattoo. Oh, she went to her friend's garage for a tattoo. Okay. She ended up getting another tattoo from him. It was a lower stomach tattoo. A few days later, she posted a picture of her tattoo and it was blistering and bubbling up. Ah! She had to go to the ER to get antibiotics and make sure her skin was okay. About a month later, she was back at her friend's garage getting another tattoo. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can't cure stupid girls. As I've always said, love yourself more, please. Love yourself more. Well, guys, I'm well and truly aboard that trigger train. Choo-choo, speeding down the railway, about to crash off a cliff and plunge to my death. Bye! And I'm back from the dead, just like Jesus Christ. Hello everyone, so thank you for watching today's video. This has been a lot. This has been interesting. I'm very excited about starting a new sort of horror story series. As I said before, the piercing horror stories are not going anywhere. I just think it's better for me to separate the tattoo and the piercing horror stories into two separate things. If you do have any stories, tattoo horror stories, please leave it in the comment section below on this video, and I'll do another one of these and then like in a few weeks time, and we could do like a new series. So yeah, comment your tattoo horror stories down below. They can be as graphic or as non-graphic as you like, or just like a funny story you had tattooing. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this most graphic thing. Even if it's like a silly little lol, please comment your stories down below. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos that are coming up. I'll be back in the next few days for another video. If you don't happen to be back on the channel before, have a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate it. Have a lovely happy holidays, all that good kind of stuff. If you don't celebrate it, absolutely fine. I'm not the biggest Christmas person, to be honest. I don't really do that much. Today's Twitch shout out goes to Bubblegum Bish. What a wonderful name. Sounds very nostalgic. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. If you'd like to be in the next Twitch shout out, come follow me over on Twitch and maybe you could be in the next shout. I'm a mess. Roly West over on Twitch. Come follow me. Come some fun. A massive shout out to my lovely patrons whose names you can see on the side of the screen here, and an extra special shout out to my top tier Patreons: Benjamin Baker, Bethard, Kaz.Thom, Shell Herman, Christina Kyle, Corin Pemberton, Erin Grace, Heather McFarland, Hunter Portwood, Hello Gorge, welcome to the Patreon shout out there. Jenna Beth Herman, Caitlin Wright, Catherine Ritter, Kelly Bowser, Chloe Louise, Lisa Pennington, Robin Scott Palmer, Steffi Tech, and Zoe Surveyor. Thank you so much for being a top tier patron. You guys are delicious. Anyway, I'll go. I'll see you soon. I'm a mess. My brain is just like, hello, frazzled girl.